Thomas. Thomas puts the cross in. Ferguson! Everton ahead! Hinchcliffe out to Barmby. Ferguson! 2-0! This gets it back. It's a high hanging cross. And Ferguson! A hat-trick for Duncan Ferguson!
It was the first Premier League hat-trick scored with a header. It was scored by Duncan Ferguson against Bolton in 1997, making him forever etched in the history of the Premier League. But this is not the only record linked to his name. With 68 goals, he is the most successful Scottish player in the history of the Premier League. And last but not least, Duncan Ferguson was sent off 8 times, which has been a record ever since. Worse, his infamous behavior wasn't limited to his time on the football field. This led to one of the most iconic moments in football history, when he was sentenced to 3 months in prison for an on-field foul. In 1990, Dundee United signed Duncan Ferguson, a 6'4" striker who is particularly good with his head. Perhaps too good. Ferguson's first brush with the law came in February 1991 when he was fined for butting a police officer at a Dundee taxi rank. A second assault followed 2 years later when the player was involved in an incident in Edinburgh, striking a man who was on crutches. That also resulted in a fine, but less than a year later he was again before the sheriff on an assault charge. 1993. I can't keep him out of trouble, laments United gaffer Jim McLean after the latest scrap. So when Rangers offer a British record £4 million for the 22-year-old, McLean accepts. But Ferguson only manages a few games in Glasgow before trouble strikes again. 1994. After tussling for the ball with Raith Rovers Jock McStay, Big Dunc spins round and delivers his signature move, another headbutt. McStay hits the deck, but the ref doesn't even book Ferguson. But it's all on camera, and the police charge him with assault yet again. He served 44 days in the city's Barlindy prison before being released, and was also banned for 12 games by the Scottish Football Association. The sentence was handed down when he was already playing in the English Premier League. Before that, he was capped 7 times by Scotland, but a dispute with the Scottish Football Association made him unavailable for selection in the national team. Duncan Ferguson's years in England were not without scandals. For example, he was arrested for drunk driving before the first Merseyside derby, and his house was burglarized twice. But perhaps thanks to his fiery habit, he caught and beat the burglars on both occasions and helped his team to victory with a goal and an assist in the derby.
And Goodison goes wild. Well, 5 minutes ago, he put himself in the exact same position and he put it over the bar. But not this time, Ian. This is better delivery. It's about 5 yards out. Ferguson's a handful. I've said it all night in the air. He steps off David James, who doesn't get there, and just puts his head there, and into the net it goes. And I have to say, the second half start, they deserved that goal. Now Tablet. Hinchcliffe. Ferguson goes up, there's a crazy deflection, it might fall the right out! He scored! That's 2! And that is all 3 points for Everton. Delirium from the Everton fans. Happiness for Joe Royle. It's 2-0 and Liverpool are sunk now.
The goalkeeper's bad here. But it's Duncan Ferguson's height that causes all the problems, Ian. That was a really poor punch from David James. I don't think he didn't need to punch it in the first place. He could have taken a hold of that. But Duncan Ferguson's threat was evident, and perhaps that's why he opted to punch it. But I'll tell you what, Ryder does well. He gets a little nick off.
Big Dunc found his way at Everton. He won the FA Cup in 1995. In 7 Merseyside derbies in the 1990s, he never loses once, and the fans liked him for the very things that forced him to leave his clubs before. Ferguson became an Everton legend for giving his whole heart to the club on and off the pitch.
One over the top for Kadamartri. Comes out to Ferguson. Thompson. Little incident there between Messrs Ince and Ferguson. Ends with a free kick to Liverpool. Duncan Ferguson, of course, about to start a 3-match suspension. That's following his sending off against Derby.